Hi guys, welcome back to another episode here on the Pepetoe podcast. I hope you guys are well and I hope you've had a really good summer so far. I know we're halfway through August, but that doesn't mean summer's coming to an end. I feel like a lot of people are posting on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere right now, talking about how summer's ending. Here's my summer recap. And we do have another month or so. I mean, autumn doesn't actually start till the 23rd of September or something like that. So I always keep that in mind. I know for me, summer always starts around May time, just because, I'm only 22, so I still kind of relate that back to end of exams at uni, at school, all of that. So it's May to September in my head. But I do get why people might be getting the kind of end of summer heebie-jeebies kind of thing, like the summer scaries. I don't know how you can really describe it, but I do get a lot of you might be feeling that kind of way, especially if I know a few of you are still at uni or going back, for your final year at uni as well. So I know it can be a daunting time, it can be a stressful time, but I use this kind of time, I absolutely love September, and I share this kind of ideology, I guess, with my mum, and we've both always loved September. My mum is obviously in her 50s, a lot older than me, so she it's not like her kind of relating it back to school time, but it probably is in some way. But that's how I relate it back to. And September is kind of like a fresh start, a clean slate, so you can just kind of. I mean, if you remember back at school, I was in the era of school when Zoella was a big thing. So it was like your glow up diaries and I don't know, the new trends. Before social media was a massive thing, it was more of YouTube creators, I think, before Instagram creators. I mean, towards the end of my time at school, it was more Instagram creators, but that's a massive thing now when I was at uni. But it was still kind of that fresh start. Zoella would do those videos every year as well, back to school. It was stuff when she had a stationery and her own product lines of what's in my bag, what's in my pencil case, I don't know, stuff like that. It would always make me think of that. I mean, we have the same thing now, but on a massive scale with so many other creators all following the exact same trend. So it's literally going back to how it was with one or two YouTube creators that everyone followed. But the bottom line is that it's still this idea that September is a fresh start, and I am so excited for September. I don't know why, as I said, but I just use it as that time before autumn. I don't know, for me, when seasons shift and change, for me that's when I change. I use summer. If you've been following me on my socials, I've not been posting a lot because I use it for that time to be with family and friends, go out, go have fun, kind of. Although it was different this year, and I suppose it was last year as well, or was it? Not quite, but this year was a very big job change in July as well, the week before my birthday. So it was a massive change. So it was more of July was my kind of reset, but I've still managed to have loads of fun, got up to loads of different things. I've not gone away anywhere really, but in my little village where I live, so a lot of fun things have been going on. So it's very different this year for sure. But I know I'm coming up to September when I do have this actual fresh start I have every year. I mean, for example, that's when I first started therapy. That's when I dropped out of uni and started uni. It was all these different things that have happened in September. And although I tend to use May or April, as it gets lighter in the mornings and it's going into summer, that's also another fresh start, I guess, because now it's going to get darker, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, I kind of want to do an episode about this, plus life updates, kind of just getting back in touch with you guys, because I know that it's been a hot sec since I've done that. But also use this 40 minutes or so to get back in touch with myself, because I feel in a lot of episodes I do say this, but I feel I've kind of, this time is different though. I've not lost touch in myself or anything like that, but it's more, I've kind of been okay, I guess. But I'm also, I mean, if you've been on my socials today, when this podcast has been released on Monday, I've kind of been okay, but I know that if I don't I don't want to say get back on track, but if I don't kind of check in with myself now, a big breakdown's coming. And I've had a couple over the last few weeks due to different medications, different things going on, different arguments, or I don't know, things that have been going on, different tiffs, I think is the best word to put it, but different things going on, meaning my brain has been scrambled quite a lot. But I'm kind of coming out of that era, I want to say that short-lived era of those breakdowns. And Matt, my boyfriend, if you're listening, you have been the one that has kind of taken the most effect by that, I feel because it's always been taking it out on you, and I do apologize for that, which is why I'm checking in with myself now, because I don't want it to happen a massive breakdown. Yeah, I've had a few over the last month or so. Yeah, I'd say over the last month, but I'm kind of revisiting like what caused them and how I can change that and what I need to do now to prevent that happening more and more. Because if you know my boyfriend from what I tell you on my podcast, my socials, whatever, you'll know that he's a dancer. He's on contract. He's going back to Dubai for another 6 to 8 months in September. He's got his date through. It's the very last day of September, which is good. But that means, we have less than 6 weeks left together. He came back home in May, so we don't have long at all to be with each other. And I've not really thought about that, which might sound mean. I don't know, but there's been so much going on. We've been so busy, the two of us. So I've not thought about that. But then that is kind of another thing. Like, yeah, September is a big reset month, but it's also the month, like the last month I get to spend with my boyfriend. But that's something that I can't think about right now. And I think it's that, like, that's worth proving the point here. I think this is how I'm feeling right now. Everything's all over the place, but the main point here is that I'm kind of taking a step back from everything at the moment and just focusing on what is a priority, which is obviously work. I've been at my new place for 6 weeks now. I think this is my 7th week. But it means like work has been a massive priority. Like that's kind of all I've done. All I've done is work and pub. Like those are the only 2 things I've done, which is absolutely fine. Like that's why I know I've neglected Pepetoe, the brand. I know I've neglected my freelance business completely, as well as trying to grow other accounts. Like I've neglected it a lot, and it's because I've been trying to, I think, kind of in the background, like in the back of my head, it's been, okay, I want to focus on recovery for me, I guess, as well. Because I'll get onto this in a minute as well, but I've been trying to focus on that as a main priority. So just have one focus, which is, outside of recovery, the one focus is work. So just focus on that and don't have 20 things going on at the same time, because that's when I get stressed, and it's unnecessary stress. Like, of course, I want to grow this podcast, my blog, whatever, my freelance business. I want to grow all of that. Of course I do. I really want to. Like, that is my biggest aim in life, I want to say. Right now, I change my mind every minute, but I really do. And the last 5 years of having this brand has been amazing anyway. Yeah, it's a very short, it's a very small community, but there is a lot of space I can do with it to grow. And I've been neglecting it a lot. So a main priority for me now going forward, when I'm starting to add bits back in now, because I have the time to do it, I have the patience, I have kind of the headspace to do it, I will add them back in. But I think it's been so nice, despite the breakdowns I've still been having, but I've been trying to reduce what I'm doing so that the stress then of doing too much doesn't affect everything else in my life, because we all know it does. And so I guess an update on recovery. It's quite a big update. I don't want to go into too much of the medical side of it, but while I'm here, I may as well be open. But I've spent a lot of time over the last few weeks really trying to get back into the habit of keeping my family and friends, or like very close friends, up to date with what's going on and keep them in the loop. And because I feel like I've neglected that quite a lot, which is how I guess a slip or a relapse or a bad day can be so easy to kind of hide, and it can just creep up on me, because if I'm in that very vulnerable state, I find it incredibly hard to keep myself accountable and stay on track. When I say on track, I mean in recovery, and keep moving forward. I know every day you don't move forward, you do take some steps back, some days, some weeks, some months. I know that too. I know it's not a straight line, it's not from A to B. I know, and we've gone back a lot recently, but I know it's not like that. But in layman's terms, putting it very simply, I don't have those people to keep me accountable, because I've not been reaching out to them to say, hey, I need some help. And I may as well put this in here. Please always ask for help. We all know how important it is, and it has made me feel so much lighter, I guess. And it's like the weight's being put off me. Although I hate putting my issues on other people, I really hate that. I guess that's definitely from past experiences with guys, or just kind of, I guess, I don't want to go into it in too much detail, but my ED making me push people away because it doesn't want help. It wants me to continue to, keep going with those bad habits. It wants me to keep pushing and, ultimately just tearing myself apart is a good way to put it, I guess. And again, I don't want to get too deep, because again, I should premise this anyway, but obviously trigger warnings all the time. I do say this all the time as well. But you guys know this by now as well. So if you don't want to listen to it, please don't. If you're interested, please carry on listening. But yeah, it's so important to keep your people, I guess, in the loop of what's going on with you, even if, you know, it might be a difficult conversation to have with them. If something else is happening, something else has come up, a new habit has come up, I don't know what it could be, but if you're struggling in any way, please reach out to those people around you, because that's why they're there. You can have the back in the mind sometimes about that idea of you don't want to be a burden, you don't want to be making them also stressed and worried like you are as well. I know that, but at the end of the day, if they love you, if they care for you, they won't care. You're their priority in that moment in time. And likewise, if you can put yourself in the other seat, if a friend came to you with that, you kind of be like, okay, I don't care, you're not a burden. No, I don't care, but I don't care as in you're not a burden. I'm going to listen to you whenever you need to talk. Like, you're there for them. Of course, there's times when you can't be there for someone if you also are struggling through a lot as well, but that's up to you to kind of prioritize. I don't want to say which is more important, because obviously you and your friends and family are really important to you, but if you can handle that. And I think because I know that so well, like, I know what my boundaries are like if someone comes to me with a problem or an issue and I'm really struggling myself and I can't handle it, and it's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I do understand that from that point of view, where I don't know if that person that I want to tell, for example, my boyfriend, I don't know if he's struggling, because, you know, maybe he might not be as open, or he might be thinking the exact same thing as me. So it's sometimes you can overthink it. And I think this is a massive example of how, especially the ED voice or the OCD voices can kind of come in and think like everything is negative, everything is going to be bad. Any like try to call for help, it's going to be bad. But I know a lot of people outside of eating disorders also think this as well. It's not a bad thing, I know, but it's that people-pleasing thing. It's that not feeling good enough thing as well. So that's also what I've been working on. But bottom line is that I've been kind of working with my friends and family. I mean, because I've been so busy with birthday celebrations, there's been a lot of birthdays in July and August so far. Don't know, like, honestly, this year's been mad because I've met new people, etc. So there's just so many birthdays coming up. I think they've all stopped now though, which is good. Please stop having birthdays, everyone. I know mine was first, but I can't do it anymore. But yeah, I think because it's been so busy, like, I've not had as many therapy sessions. So I've kind of been trying to bring in my boyfriend and my mum and my dad into the conversation a little bit more. And I've spoken about it a little bit over the last couple months since I left Pure Gym when I was working there. If you guys have been listening to my pods or my socials or whatever, you'll know that that was a very, very, very difficult time for me when I had to leave a job that I loved so much because my mental and physical health were just non-existent, basically. I lost a load of weight. I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't leave my desk. I was so addicted to working, I guess. And I have done a lot of episodes about this, so I'm not going to kind of get into it. But I went so deep back into kind of my relapse and my ED thoughts. And I didn't even see it happening, to be honest. It was more of the like kind of addiction to work, or I was so stressed and didn't realize how much that can affect my ED and vice versa. And it was a really, really rough time for me. So I had to leave my job. I chose in the right frame of mind when, you know, when I wasn't feeling as vulnerable, I chose to go back to the GP and start the conversation again about getting referrals, getting back into kind of clinic treatment, which was a scary thing to do because I've not had to do that since I've been over 18, I guess. I've not had to have those conversations and speak to new doctors and new people about it again. And that has been a very difficult time for me. But I've used this time to keep my boyfriend up to date because, you know, he's very new to this. He's very new to my world and he is finding it difficult to understand it. And I don't want to say I understand it because, again, I've never really been on that other side of not being able to understand things. I mean, obviously there's things that friends have told me, different traumas, different experiences that, you know, I've not been through. So yeah, I've got to kind of empathize with that and try and understand it. But I've not been on it with like an ED and how complicated it is. I've not been the other way around. So I can vouch for those people who try so hard. Like your friends, your family. Like I know my mum has tried ridiculously hard to help me. She's even done. She's a therapist and she's recently, over the last year or so, got a qualification in particular eating disorder therapy, which is amazing, and the work she's doing right now is incredible. And so I see people all the time trying, and it's sometimes those people, like, I don't know, like my boyfriend, like I don't necessarily see him trying all the time because it's not something that you should do. Like you shouldn't be asking questions all the time and trying to work it out and trying to understand, because obviously that's not healthy for either of like the people in a relationship or whatever it is. But it's been really lovely to kind of work with him on that and help him understand, and also help me try and reframe how I say things to him. And, you know, if my ED voice or my OCD voice or whatever it is getting the best of me, and it also makes me angry, or in arguments I say the wrong things, and there's so much more that goes into it, and it's that level of education I'm trying to bring into the internet. And to obviously I'm trying to do it more in my close circle first, trying to educate people that way, but I'm trying to bring online that there's more to an eating disorder than just food and exercise. It affects everything in your day-to-day life, how you think about things, how you go about things, how you talk to people, how you talk about things. It's horrible. Like when I have a relapse or whatever, it doesn't just affect my weight, it affects everything. My relationships is something that takes a massive hit. Like I only have 2 or 3 friends left from school because this all developed towards the end of my time at school, and I couldn't keep those friendships. I couldn't speak to anyone. Your ED is very good at kind of keeping you captive and locking you away, so you don't speak to anyone. Even if you want to, if you're screaming, like I want to go speak to someone, whether it's not even about what you're going through, but just like to have a conversation, your ED will literally make you walk the other way. Like it's so strange. And I, you know, when I'm a lot further into my recovery, I so want to read up more about this, do a study, do something with my mum maybe on this, because it's so interesting how it controls your life basically. And trying to say this to my new boyfriend of like 3 or 4 months is really difficult, because obviously I don't want to scare him away. I think there's a big thought in my head as well, but it's also he needs to know this. Like he has to know that sometimes in arguments it's not me talking, it's my ED. Like yeah, I can't make that an excuse every time, but there needs to be some kind of level of security, of understanding that that is what can happen, and that is who's talking when I'm not talking, I guess, in a very heated conversation. But yeah, I guess that's kind of an update on where I am with that. Like working with the GP has been also really good again. I mean, the doctor I've been seeing is amazing. And I spoke a bit before about kind of my experiences with GPs, about different issues or things going on. And I think I definitely have done a podcast about kind of female health and the NHS system and those kind of things. I have done an episode about that, I believe. I want to say it was beginning of this year or last year. I'm not quite sure. I might have to dig that out for you. But I've said a few times before that I only go and see a female doctor. And don't come at me for saying that, but I've had experiences with male doctors being sexist, being like obviously sexist. And yeah, I'm not going to get into it now, but I've had experiences before with multiple, I'm not just saying it was one guy, with multiple male doctors. So I've, you know, over the last few years until this year, I've only ever seen female doctors. Even if it's about tonsillitis or something like that, I only go see female doctors. And I always put that when I phone up or when I do a form to see a doctor that morning to get an appointment, I always request that. And if I get through a doctor with a male doctor, I don't go, or I change it, or yeah, that's just me. But this time when I had to get an appointment when I left Pure Gym, I think I might have mentioned this, that day when I handed in my resignation, or the day after, I phoned up the GP because I was like, kind of just in case I did need a sick note, but in my head it was more because I needed to start the process again. I needed to get referrals. I needed to see a medical professional about what was going on. Sure, I've got a therapist, but I needed to get the physical side checks out, because it wasn't just kind of my ED affecting my like physicality, I guess, or like my weight, etc. It was also stress. So I wanted to make sure there was nothing else going on. So obviously I needed to see a doctor, not a therapist, about that, obviously. And it timed in quite well. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know why, you know, it timed in quite well that I was even my job, and, you know, it's kind of the right time to see advice. I mean, I had to, like, literally I had to go see someone about it. But I did it off my own accord. My mum was like, do you want me to come with you? I was like, no, it's fine. And I was in this appointment for like 40 minutes. In the UK, you only get a 10-minute appointment. I was in there for a very long time speaking to him. And he is the best doctor by far I've ever seen. He did follow-ups with me without me having to like request them. And we've kind of been like, we've got a plan of action, which doctors don't do in the UK. I think in America, you kind of have your doctor that you see. You have annual checkups that you see kind of the same person, and you have them kind of not on speed dial, I guess, but that'd be an American way of putting it. But you have that kind of contact. Whereas in the UK, unless you kind of request that, and in each appointment you have to book it yourself. You have to ask if they're on holiday or if they're away. Like, you need to make sure you can see that person. You can get booked in advance, but usually you can only get same day appointments in most GPs, in most doctor practices and surgeries here. You don't have like one doctor ever. Like, if you have multiple surgeries, unless you go private and request it, you will not get the same doctor. So it is quite difficult to kind of make that happen and kind of get a plan of action and follow-ups put in, because you're not going to see them. And this guy I saw again last week, and it was a 5:30 appointment. I was in there for half an hour. He could have gone home at 5. He's a GP, like, it's a 9 to 5 job basically. So he could have gone home, but no, he took the time to see me last. And he told me, he was like, I put you in as my last appointment because, I wanted to have a deeper chat with you, kind of put a POA in place. And the plan we have is a scary plan, I want to say. I'm trying a different medication to try and help with some anxiety, basically antidepressants. Basically, they are antidepressants, which I've never thought I'd try. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you, like, that is what I'm trying, and I will maybe keep you up to date on it. I'm not sure. I might do a post on my story or something every now and again, because it is quite a vulnerable thing to admit. But I want to kind of put out there that medication isn't always the solution. I've been with an ED for over 6 years now, in recovery for a couple of those years, and I've never thought about trying medication. I mean, I've tried kind of like herbal remedies for sleep, things you can get like in Tesco, like not even over the counter, like literally just stuff you can get in the supermarket, which they do help, but they've got to a point now where I've used them so much that they don't help. And I wanted something to kind of curb the thoughts in my head. Like, obviously antidepressants don't fix you, like they don't fix you straight away, but they can help to kind of take some of what you're going through away, some of the pain, some of the anxiety, and that's exactly what I wanted to look for. And the type I'm on, I'm not going to say the name, but the type I'm on also helps with appetite, which is a scary thing. Like, we're kind of looking through the options together. My doctor said, you know what, try this, and we can see if that does help with your appetite, if it makes you more motivated to eat, like whatever it is that you need for your recovery as well as your anxiety, because that anxiety was born from my ED, from the OCD voices, from the routine I had to have, from everything going on. Like, I couldn't have any changes in my routine, any uncertainty, any change of plans, I would break down. And I'm still the exact same now, especially when I get more and more towards a relapse or a fallback or something like that. I go, like, that's a massive warning sign if I suddenly go to mum, like, no, it's 6:30, where's dinner? Like, we have to have dinner now, or I'll cook myself something now because it's 6:30. Like, it's those kind of things that I can't not know. And it really, really annoys me when someone changes plans, but I know that's a lot of people. And this is such like top line kind of anxiety. I'm not going to get into all of it because I've done so many episodes about anxiety, but it is a lot more than that. But that's just a little example I can give you that people can probably relate to. But yeah, I'm going to try this and see how it goes. I mean, if anyone is in recovery, if you're listening, if you have tried antidepressants or any kind of form of medication to help with the ED, let me know, because I have heard of it being used, but that's usually with people who already had diagnosed depression or anxiety, or, was diagnosed along the way of it. I know I don't have depression, so I feel like some people might come out and say to me, like, well, why are you on antidepressants? You're not depressed. This one is very good at helping with anxiety and OCD. So that's the kind of thing I'm trying, because it can get very loud in my head sometimes. So I'm just trying something to kind of curb it and just take the edge off a little bit, I think is the best way to put it. It's been a week and I felt a bit out of it. I mean, some of the side effects I'm feeling is I've got really, really dry skin on my face. I don't know why, but it's really dry. Really, really dry. I don't think that was on the side effects list anyway. And I do get lightheaded and dizzy every now and again. Like, kind of the same feeling as when I wouldn't eat, but I am eating. It's a very weird feeling. Like, it's a very familiar feeling for me, but I know it's because of the medication. And I'm so tired. Like, as soon as I get into bed, I fall asleep. And it is good because I've always had a massive issue falling asleep. So I'd always have to go to sleep really late at night or until I literally passed out. So I am starting to see some kind of signs that it is helping. With this kind of thing, it's like, you know, when you're on the contraceptive pill, like it does take 3 to 6 months to really, well, longer than that. It takes at least 6 months to kind of like for you to get used to it. And I've been on the pill for like 3-4 months and I've just come off it because it's definitely causing a lot of more angry Ellie in the world, I think. A lot more breakdowns, a lot more hormones going on. So I've come off it and now trying this other pill, which, you know, it might not have been the best way to do it. But I wanted to see like the actual effects of it. I mean, I know I'm kind of like coming off those hormones now, so it might affect it differently. I don't know, but you know, they do say with pills like this, it does take 6 months to kind of show any kind of actual positive effect. You know, it might be more psychological at the start, or it might just kind of be the first few weeks you see a massive difference, but then it just kind of goes back to normal. The main thing I'd say is that I do feel out of it quite a lot. Kind of like I'm hungover, I want to say, but not really hungover. I don't know. I feel like I get a lot of headaches with it. Like I'm hungover, but without the kind of nausea or, I mean, I always get anxiety as well after a night of drinking. So it's without that, it's just like a bit of a headache. So it might just be a headache, but that's how I relate it to. I don't know why I relate it to that, but it's a bit like out of it. Like, yeah, like you're hungover a little bit as well. Or even, I mean, it's affecting drinking as well. Because you know me, I love going to the pub, but I've limited myself to like 2 drinks a night now because I don't know how it's going to react with it. It doesn't say anything anywhere online, but I know most antidepressants do react badly with alcohol. So yeah, I'm curbing that, which is also a really good thing because I have been at the pub a lot. My bank account and my liver are not looking that great, so I need to kind of slow that down anyway. But yeah, it's a new thing and it's kind of a motivator as well because it's right. I'm taking this now and it's a medication, you know, it's kind of a next level, not because it's got worse or because it's this or because it's that, but because I wanted to try something new. And I think that's not a bad thing. That's quite a vulnerable thing to have to do. And it is scary. And the conversation I had when I came out with my mum wasn't the best conversation, I guess, and it was a very scary one to have because she's always been against that kind of thing. But I was like, no, look, I want to try this. I'm not going to become reliant on it or anything, but if it's something that does help with, and if it does have limited side effects, that'd be great. But if it's something that helps, there's no shame in that. And that's what I'm learning now. Like I was always kind of against it anyway when I was a bit younger, but now it's okay, there is this thing that I can take that, yeah, okay, a lot of people take, and it's, you know, there is a bit of taboo around taking antidepressants, but I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm on them, and I think that's a really big thing. It's a big thing for me. So I have felt a lot more vulnerable the last week, but I don't know, it's just my body getting used to it. I need to kind of, I mean, I have accepted it now. So I hope it does also make a positive impact on my work, because it is that sometimes when everything in my head is too loud. Again, this is me really like kind of putting it all in a nutshell. I could go into such a much deeper conversation with you about it and why I'm taking it, etc. So please don't think I'm just like, oh, I'm on a new pill, like, yay. It's not like that at all, but I'm just trying to make it kind of short and brief, even though I know it's not a very short episode, but I'm trying to kind of say it in a way that's like, yeah, I'm on this. It's a vulnerable thing to do, but I'm happy that I'm doing it and I'm just going to see what it's like. And that's kind of it really on this, because as I said, I could go into this in way more detail, but I'm not going to because I've not been on it for that long. I've been on it for a week. So it's doing something different, and there's no shame in that. Like I said, there's no shame in asking for help, for trying medication, because you don't know, like, it might help. Even if you hear the taboo around it, if you don't agree with it yourself or whatever, maybe read up on it, because it can help, okay? There's enough research out there to prove that. So yeah, and what works for you will be different to someone else. What works for me will be different to someone else. Like, this medication might not help, you know. As I said, it probably is a psychological thing to start with. So, you know, it might not help me, but it might help someone else. Or it might help me and it might not help anyone else. You know what I mean? It is a very different thing. So, yeah. So far, so good. But I will keep you guys updated if you want to know about it. Let me know. I will keep some kind of update on it. But yeah. Something else that I'm kind of trying to bring back in as well is a bit of routine, on a kind of note of me always having to need a routine, whatever it is. I mean, I've lost that routine. I've said this literally, I swear, for the last like 2 years on this podcast. But I'm not necessarily trying to bring back a routine. But that's why I said that I love September in this kind of time. Because I want to bring back things I used to do. I was thinking about this with mum. Like, this is what mum always says to anyone. Like, she knows when I've kind of gone into a slump again if I'm not doing those things that I used to. Things that kind of my ED took away from me, which the 2 big things that I've still not done since recovery really is writing. So yeah, okay, my blog, but more so short story writing, poetry, things I used to do since the age of about 6. I love doing it. Maybe a bit older, maybe 8, probably 8, not 6, but I used to write all the time. I'd always get a new notebook when I went on holiday to write like a new book in it, which is, I don't know how I did that, but that's something that I've not done in a very long time. And also dancing. Like, I think I mentioned it before that I used to be a dancer, and I've not danced in so long. The space I use is kind of like in the landing, outside everyone's bedrooms, which in lockdown apparently was very, very annoying. But it's something that I've not done in a while, and I'm actually, home alone tonight. My parents are both out for the evening, so I might end up dancing later. Like, I just want to bring these things back because as much as I love spending time with my boyfriend, as much as I love that he lives less than a mile away from me, I don't have my evenings, I guess. I don't have that time on my own to kind of do these things and remember why I love them, remember why I did them, and bring them back in to kind of bring in that extra thing to the day. Because as I said, all I'm doing is going to work and going to the pub. Like, there's no hobbies at the moment. I have picked up running. I think I have mentioned before. I have picked up running, which is something that is, again, another goal for me. Yeah, it's exercise, but I used to think running's not a sport, it's just running. But now that I've done it and now that I've accustomed to it, I've been doing it for a month. It is a sport, it really is, and I am enjoying it. But I know obviously if I want to start doing a sport again, because in a month's time I'm starting hockey again, which I think I've mentioned, which is a massive thing for me. It's a massive step that I can go and enjoy that again without having to be like, I need to wear my Fitbit, or I need to get this many steps in at training, or if I don't play the full match, I need to do a workout when I get home. Literally, those are things that I used to do. This was just as my ED was developing. Like, that was a big first sign for me. It was like, if I get subbed off halfway through, like, I need to go make that up and do a workout when I get home. Like, that is just crazy. But it's this new sport that makes me think, okay, if I want to do this, if I want to be able to run, I'm literally running 5Ks at the moment, but if I want to be able to run, if I want to be able to play hockey, all of that kind of thing, like to do a sport, I need to eat before and after and have snacks and make sure I'm eating enough and make sure I'm resting and recovering. Like, it's a new goal for me to have, and it's something that I'm not obsessed with. I run maybe twice, maybe 3 times a week, like when I can. When I work from home, those days I tend to go for a run then in my lunch break. Then make sure as soon as I get back, I have electrolytes and I eat as soon as I get back, so I know that I've done it. I've started this new hobby because I miss having hobbies. Like, if you've seen my blog, I think the last time I posted was early July. I've just not been posting. It has been time, to be fair, because as I said, like, I've been with my boyfriend a lot, which obviously I love, and I want to spend as much time as possible with him, especially because he's going back to Dubai. But I haven't been able to do these things in the evening. Like, I know if he's over at my house or I'm at his house, I can still do these things. I can still have a long bath or an everything shower, or read a book, watch Netflix, do a bit of content. Like, I can do these things. I can write, I can dance, I can do them when I'm with him, I know. But it's just that thought of like, no, you want to spend time with them. As I said as well, I'm so tired. So as soon as like after dinner I go to bed, I sleep. I'm so tired all the time at the moment on this new pill. So I'm really trying to use the times when I am alive and energetic to go do those things. But I think this new kind of reset for me, like this morning I woke up, I don't know why. I think it's because I'm not going to London this week in the office because the trains are just an absolute nightmare. So I'm not going in. So I think it's that kind of week where, okay, I'm at home. My boyfriend's out for 2 days on a golf trip. So I'm like, okay, right, I'm on my own. Like, this is great. And yeah, I don't know why I'm so happy about it, but I think it's just like, I can have an Ellie day. Like, you guys must have, if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, but you must have like missed the term Ellie day. I used to say it all the time because I used to do my podcast on a weekend, but I used to say, oh my God, I'm going to have an Ellie day today. And I love it. Like, yeah, I'm filming this at like 6:30 at night, before I have dinner, but I miss my Ellie days. I need to bring them back. Like, this weekend, my brother is up for the weekend. My parents are on holiday. So I'm cat sitting, and my boyfriend at his house, his parents are away, so he is to cat sit there. So we can't really spend as much time together this weekend. But also that's a good thing, so I can do all these things and get things done, which sounds so bad to say, but I think he'll understand that as well, because we've been so busy basically doing nothing. Like, literally since he's been back, me and him have done like days out or something twice. We went to, oh my God, I didn't tell you, we went to Thorpe Park a couple months ago, I think back in June. It was the 1st of July actually, yeah, 1st of July we went to Thorpe Park, which was obviously a great day out. And Saturday, so this weekend, we went to go see, if you guys know JLS, I'm an absolute massive fan. Hopefully you guys do remember that. We saw Marvin. He's doing like a DJ tour at the moment. Saw him in Birmingham and met him afterwards, because think about the dancer world. Thank you, Matt, my boyfriend. His best friend was his backing dancer. So we got backstage passes and I met him, which is incredible, which is just, honestly, I was in that green room and everyone else there were like the group of friends, so they were all dancers, they're in that world, they meet people like that all the time, and I was like, why is no one freaking out? To be fair, there's not a lot of JLS fans left in the world. We're going a bit extinct, I think. Or to be fair, JLS fans tend to be a bit older, so I think there's that thing too. But yeah, I met him and that was just an incredible thing. But yeah, I'm not playing that down, like, trust me, I was so excited. But just on the point of, me and my boyfriend have like been out twice for days out together. That's it. And he's been home for like 3 months. And I think that is crazy, and we haven't really done anything. So next time I need to go into town, even to get my nails done, I'm going to bring him with me so we can get out of the village as well, because he only goes out if he goes to play golf. He can't drive either, so he goes out with someone else. So it's like, we're not doing anything. So Friday, I want to go do something with him. My brother mentioned us three going somewhere, like just us three, which would be quite nice. But I do want to go somewhere with him on Friday to actually make use of, I've booked the day off basically to have a long weekend on the bank holiday. So I'm trying to make use of that time. But yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with this kind of thinking. If you are struggling right now, the one thing I want you to do, and I know how hard this can be, and I have mentioned this in this episode, ask for help. But first of all, ask yourself how you're feeling. I know that sounds very weird to tell yourself if you know you're feeling like absolute shit, but tell yourself how you're feeling right now. And you might be able to kind of come to terms with yourself being like, am I struggling? Think about if you've done those things that you used to enjoy, or that you say that you do all the time, like if that is journaling or making your favourite coffee and sitting outside in the morning, for example, like anything like that. Ask yourself if you've done that this week, because I don't think you have. I mean, you probably have. If you're struggling, you probably haven't. And you might say all the time, I do this, I do that, and you've not done it in a month or so. I think that's a massive sign if you stop doing things you love. Is a massive sign if you're struggling with whatever it is. I'm not talking about just EDs or whatever. You know, we all go through different things here. So if you're struggling, or just kind of point blank, just struggling. If you're going through a low phase, absolutely fine. You know, you might think, I'm not, it's summer, like it's hot outside, the sun's out, I'm not going to be down during this time. You can, I'm there now, like you can be in that position, even if it's not winter. Like I feel like a lot of people tie emotions to seasons, which is fine. You know, a lot of us do get more sad in winter and we are happier in summer, but you can also have low moments in summer. So ask yourself that. Ask yourself if you've done that journaling today or yesterday or last week or last month, and see, okay, there's a pattern here. Like I've not done this in a while. It's a massive tell. And you know, whatever it is you used to do, even if it is like, I'm trying to think of like a very like niche thing to say, but it could be something like a podcast or something you used to do with a friend. Like you used to go have coffee with a friend all the time and you don't do them. You don't text people anymore. Stuff like that, like little things that to you might not have been a massive thing, but you used to do all the time. And you might not have realised it was a hobby or like a routine thing you did. Like every Thursday you went to your favourite coffee shop, or I don't know what it is, but try and work that out. And also go back through your WhatsApp or Snapchat or DMs or whatever messaging device, software, messaging platform you use, and have a look at the last time you texted a friend. Maybe you're texting one friend, but have a scroll down to see when the last time was you reached out to your group chat or whatever, or your mum or your dad or your I'm hoping it's not your partner. I hope you guys do talk more so, especially if you live together, but like, or your sister or your brother or someone in your family that you know you are very close to, but you're like, I've actually not spoken to them in a few weeks. Do it, because that is a massive telltale of if you're doing okay or not. It sounds very blunt to say, but it really is. So on that note, I'm going to go cook myself some dinner, which I've not done in so long because I live at home. My mum does most of the cooking, unless it's not as like these when she's out, parents are out. Don't worry, I do also help around the house and I do cook the meal for the family as well sometimes every now and again. It's not just my mum doing it, don't worry. But I'm going to use this time, these next few hours really, just to have a chill, not necessarily do all the things I've just said, like dancing, writing, journaling, reading. Like, I'm not going to go and jump and do all those things right now, but I'm going to see what I can incorporate now without making it a huge kind of to-do list. Just see what I can do right now to make me feel a little bit better, and just something I've not done in a while. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know it's kind of been a massive brain dump to you guys. I did just kind of want to get back in touch with you about what's been happening with me, and hopefully it can kind of relate to one of you guys. It can resonate with you if you're going through a similar thing. I'll keep you guys updated with what's going on, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. And no, I will speak to you soon. I actually will, guys. Trust me, I will speak to you next week. But yeah, have a lovely evening, and I hope to speak to you guys soon. Bye.